The rise of deepfakes basically gave the fraud community a way, to manipulate imagery, pictures, voice, audio, right, to resemble actual people who they use the content then to defraud financial institutions. Hence, it creates a risk, where uh, fake identities are now being used for various criminal purposes. And these could be opening fake accounts for a bank, or maybe applying for a online loan, where there is no face-to-face interaction, in the digital world, right? Uh, Deepfake basically pose a greater problem today, also because the ability for them to scale very rapidly is like fraud on steroids. Where a fraudster in the past could put in effort to create sets of fake identity content, and they could have to put in some effort to create the sets and then use this to create individual fake accounts one by one. But with the convenience of access to generative AI capabilities to morph faces, create synthetic identities, right? The ability for them to scale their attacks on any systems today has multiplied 100-fold, right? So the ability for financial institutions to react to these no longer can be done on a manual way, where the internal risk and audit teams are looking at through the data, but it has to be complemented with abilities and tools, right, to detect deep fakes, so that they can have a more sustainable ability, right, to deal with the increase in volumes of these attacks. With a lot of news reports about deepfake scam cases, and how much the industry have lost, right? In the through deepfake and fake identity related fraud, the consumer perception, of course, will be a drop in confidence, right? Whether their financial institutions have the means to protect them, right, against such attacks. So the general view, right, and based on a Jumio survey that we actually collected from participants of the program, basically set an expectation that uh, consumers would want the banks, right, financial institutions, to be responsible and accountable for any cybercrime related losses, right? Up to 72% of respondents in Singapore would set an expectation that the banks are accountable. And I think that it's important for the banks as well, of course, to also be very clear in their communication about what they are doing to protect their consumers, right? In terms of the technologies that they're putting in place, the education to the consumers about how they should protect themselves, what are the latest scams, that are quite prevalent in the market, and through such combined measures, I think they are also building their own reputation, like how they are actually dealing with the rise in deepfake related scams and fraud. The problem with deepfake is that uh, today, a lot of fraudsters basically use methods to bypass the camera. And we call it digital injection, where using deepfake software, they create sets of selfies, sets of identity documents, and they put these pictures into a video stream, bypassing the camera. Now, the the additional layers of technology now has to be in place to ensure that this doesn't become a loophole, right? Where uh, fake content created so easily enters, into the identity verification system itself. So Jumio has been in the forefront, right, of putting in technologies to ensure our liveness detection capability uses methods where we will know if a picture indeed came from the camera stream or it was digitally injected. If it's tested to be digitally injected, that means that face that appeared back into the verification process never came from the camera. So it is important that these methods are well implemented, and a lot of government digital identity systems see this as very important because it is the holy grail to the biometrics of the citizens. If you cannot prove that the face in front of the camera is indeed live from the camera, then you are very susceptible to digital injections. So the technology discussion today must be at this level, to test and ensure that deepfakes doesn't become a spoiler for the financial industry, right? Creating instability on account opening, digital transactions.